Hello and welcome back to the Scenario 7 podcast YouTube channel. My name is Sam and this is week 8 of our F1 fantasy show. In this episode, we'll be looking back at how we did in Monaco, talking about price changes and looking ahead to this weekend's Azerbaijan Grand Prix, going through Matt's team and any alternatives he might look to swap in before the deadline. But before anything else, let's introduce our fancy expert, Matt Collier. How are you doing, mate?
I'm good, thank you, Sam. Been up to a bit of marshalling and a bit of studying, so I've been good. How are you doing?
I'm all good. That sounds like some good stuff. Let's now get into it and look back at Monaco and see where we sit in the Scenario 7 podcast fantasy table, starting with Performer of the Week. And this is where we look at the person who got the most points from the last race, and that was the Monaco Grand Prix and was a Mexican competitor called Hector M with 239 points. So well done to them. Got like the most Mexican name with Hector M. Love that from them. Now to the top of the table, and bit of a shock this week as Joe Roberts has been dethroned, not by one, but by two people. Two people have overtaken him as he drops to third. Our new leader of the Scenario 7 podcast fantasy table is Andrew T with 1,653 points, which is quite the tally. Matt, you are one place up on last week, up to 13th on 1,408 points. So quite a decent tally. Were you happy with your week in Monaco?
Yeah, it was a good week in Monaco. I'd describe it as an 8 out of 10. A 9 out of 10 would have been Albon not DNFing, and a 10 out of 10 would have been a Red Bull 1-2. So I was very pleased with how I did in Monaco.
Yeah, certainly some solid points. And now to me, and I'm also up one place to 45th. We are climbing with 1,169 points. I was pretty happy with how Monaco went. It was, I think, my third best week this season. Red Bull as a constructor got me some good points. Sonoda getting -5 was the only major disappointment, and Ferrari could have potentially produced a bigger output. But at the end of the day, not too bad. But let's go more in depth with the last week's team, Matt. The team you settled with is on screen now. So you had Bottas, who got you 26 points, Perez, who got you 46 points, Albon, who got you -7, Sainz, who got you 34, Leclerc, your turbo driver, who got you 44, and Red Bull getting you 69, totaling to 212 points. Talk me through your selection.
As I said, I was quite happy with how I did. It could have been more, but yeah. Ferrari qualified 1-2, and once again, their strategy and lack of experience was their Achilles heel. Going to the weekend, Bottas didn't quite look like he had the pace, but still managed to finish in the top 10 and get that driver streak of +10. Perez had a brilliant race, got loads of points for himself and my constructor of Red Bull. And then comes the negative digit of Albon -7. To be honest, I didn't really mind it because 4 of the low budget drivers all got negative points. You touched on one in your team, that was Yuki Tsunoda. Yuki Tsunoda got negative points. Albon got negative points. Magnussen got negative points, and Mick Schumacher. So at the end of the day, Magnussen got -6, Albon got -7, so it's not the end of the world. Only -1 difference. And yeah, all the low budget drivers had a terrible weekend. I think apart from like Latifi and one new Joe, but I was never going to put them in my team. So yeah, overall 212 points from the weekend. I'm very happy with.
Yeah, definitely a good tally. Time to look at some price changes. As always, there have been a lot of fluctuations since the last race and will continue to be until the deadline. What we talk about now is the prices at the time of recording and are likely to change. So let's start with the drivers. What changes stand out to you?
Well, in the last few shows, I was saying how the market has settled. Well, this week it's a complete opposite. We've seen increases of zero point 0.4 and even decreases of 0.4. So I'll start with drivers first. One new Joe's gone from 8.2 to 8.6 million, so an increase of 0.4. Very strange considering in the last 3 races he's had a combined total of -7 points. So I don't really understand the logic of people transferring him. Maybe they think he's going to get a bit more luck this weekend. Another increase in prices. Max Verstappen, he's gone from 30.3 to 30.5 million, so an increase of 0.2 million. Another increase is Lance Stroll, 8.9 million to 9 million, increase of 0.1. Now onto some decreases, and this is the shocking one. Very surprised about this decrease, and that is Sergio Perez, 18.5 down to 18.1 million, decrease of 0.4. The reasoning for this is a bit of a mystery. I can only think of so many salty Ferrari fans or Monaco fans wanting Leclerc to win his home Grand Prix, and it ended up being Perez. Another reason, I think that people are trying to do alternatives and find other options, and particularly for this week, a former, I'll give you a clue, I'm not going to say who it is, but a former Toro Rosso driver is probably who they're potentially trying to swap into their team. Another decrease, Alex Albon, 8 million down to 7.8 million, so a decrease of 0.2. I was very on the ball. I made sure to swap him out before his price dropped. Same with Perez. So I've already saved 0.6 million because that's how safe decrease. So yeah, Albon's gone from 8 million down to 7.8, decrease 0.2. And another decrease is Ricardo, 13.7 down to 13.6, so a decrease of 0.1. And then finally onto some constructors. They've all been decreases. Mercedes have gone from 33.8 million down to 33.7 million, decrease of 0.1. Hamilton just didn't have the best of weekends, and Russell, just being Russell, always finishes in the top 5. Onto Red Bull, they also decreased from 32.7 down to 32.6 million, so a decrease of 0.1. And another decrease is Alfa Romeo, 8.8 million down to 8.7, decrease of 0.1 as well.
Some very, I don't know how to describe it, wacky changes almost. Some definitely big surprises. But let's look at the team you might be deploying this week. Of course, we need to preface this by it's subject to change as the deadline is not until Saturday, and practice sessions can be used as an insight into how teams will perform this weekend. First up, we've got Valtteri Bottas costing 9.6 million. Why does he keep his place?
Yeah, very much a very solid driver, getting loads of points. His increase of 0.1 kind of explains that, and you know, he got a race streak out in Monaco, so he's always getting loads of points. That's why I've kept him in my team.
Yeah, seems logical enough. Now, the man that we've just talked about, his price decreasing, Sergio Perez, 18.1 million down from 18.5, as you said, a race winner in Monaco last week, and notoriously has a very good record in Azerbaijan. Why have you kept faith with him?
Well, he's in the championship battle. I think he's only 15 points off Verstappen and like 5 points off Leclerc, which sounds pretty insane considering we thought it was just going to be a Verstappen versus Leclerc championship battle. And yeah, as you explained, he's got a very good record at Baku. And yeah, despite his price drop, I've still got to have him in my team.
Yeah, I'm thinking about swapping him in this week as well. Now to your only change, and you have reverted back to K-Mag after trying Albon for a week, priced at 6.1 million. Why did you make this change?
Well, after I knew Monaco would be a strategy kind of race. And yeah, to be honest, I think the Haas has a lot more potential in the car. And especially with Baku having massive long straights, I think this is a track that suits Haas and even Magnussen, because Magnussen's had experience of this track. And Magnussen did quite well at Saudi Arabia, which has massive straights. So that's why I brought him in. It was worth a punt last week, and at the end they only lost -1, so it wasn't too bad.
Yeah, not too bad. Carlos Sainz stays for another week, costing 17.2 million. Why did you keep the Ferrari driver?
He's always going to be around the podiums and getting loads of points, so that's basically the only reason why I've kept in. He hasn't quite got the winning mentality just yet, but I'm sure it'll come throughout the season, so that's why I've kept him.
Yeah, and your final driver, and it's the other Ferrari driver, and that's Charles Leclerc. He is your turbo driver at 19 million. Why have you kept him? Similar reason to Sainz?
Well, Leclerc's a much better driver, and Leclerc got pole last time out in Baku. So yeah, we'll have to see how Leclerc does this weekend, but I still think he'll do very well for my team and get quite a few points.
Yeah, he certainly does need to start picking up some more race wins if he wants to keep in this title fight. Time for the constructor, and Red Bull keeps its place valued at 32.6 million. They are looking so strong, aren't they?
Yeah, very much. I'm happy I transferred them in when I did. And yeah, I think this track, well, it's quite an interesting one. It could either go Ferrari dominance or Red Bull dominance, because the Red Bull's ridiculous on the straights, and then Ferrari's really good in the corners. But as I've explained in previous shows, I've done a full analysis of what I think is the better constructor, and yeah, Red Bull stays for another week.
Yeah, they stay for another week and looking very strong in a track that, as you said, could go either way. So we've gone through your team, but who are some alternatives you are looking to potentially swap in before the deadline and the people at home could consider putting in their teams?
Yes, I'll go through 3 alternatives like I do on every show. I'll start with a constructor. That is Mercedes, currently priced at 33.7 million. They're the only constructor to have any kind of boost this week, and they've got a qualifying boost. So if both Hamilton and Russell qualify in the top 10, they'll get an extra +5 for points. On to some drivers now, and I've gone with Sebastian Vettel, priced at 11.4 million. His Baku record speaks for itself. He's finished second, fourth, third, and second. So his record is insane at Baku. And even last year, he qualified 11th. It was very close to getting to Q3. Still managed to finish the race in second. And I think behind Hamilton's drive at Brazil last season, I would have put Vettel's drive at Baku because it was just exceptional. And then on to another driver, Max Verstappen, currently priced at 30.5 million. He's the only driver to have any kind of streak this weekend. He has a race streak, so he'll get an extra +10 if he finishes in the top 10 this weekend. And yeah, there's options that people should consider for their teams.
Yeah, some good picks, especially with Sebastian Vettel's record in Baku. But that wraps up our video. I hope you found it helpful. A reminder that the deadline for changes is an hour before qualifying. So get your team finalized by then. Remember to like and subscribe. Follow us on our socials. They're linked down below. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.